Welcome to my very first YouTube video, which is about MLA format. We're going to cover just the basics, some in-text citations, what MLA is, why it's important, and the works cited page, as well as just general formatting for papers. So what is MLA format? Why is it important? MLA stands for a Modern Language Association, and that's going to cover all of your humanities disciplines, your English, philosophy, languages, sometimes history, depending on the instructor. Also covers formatting and citation. So again, it's not just citing, it's also the format of the actual paper. And it was last updated in April 2016. So we are on the 8th edition of MLA. If you learned the 7th edition previously, that is no longer valid. We've been in this format for quite some time now. So MLA 8 is generally accepted. MLA is important because it helps us to avoid plagiarism. We don't want to get accused of that. We want to make sure we're citing all of our sources. We also want to make sure that we have uniformity among our essays, that all of your essays are formatted the same, you're all writing the same amount. It's also easily recognized by other scholars in the field, and it just lets your reader know that you're using reliable sources and that you're using them responsibly. So into the nitty-gritty. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly because I do have the template for my students. So that's the easy way to do it, is to download the file in Canvas, save it as a document to your computer, and fill it in. You can also upload it to Microsoft OneDrive if you don't have Microsoft Word on your computer. The hard way is to format it yourself according to MLA style rules, which I'm going to go over, again, gloss over them here a little bit. You can look at this PowerPoint and kind of pause the video and write down the specifics. But this allows for unity so that no one's getting away with writing more or writing less because they use different margins and fonts and things like that. So your margins should always be 1 inch. They should always be that no matter what style you're using, not just for MLA, but for Chicago and APA, it's 1 inch margins as well. This can be done easily in Microsoft Word. It's usually the normal setting, just double check. There are no exceptions to that rule, and I can very easily tell when your margins are not 1 inch. I've been doing this for a little while now. Your font should be size 12, Times New Roman or Arial, some plain font, nothing funky, and should be the same throughout your paper. So if you're copying and pasting a quote, or if you're copying and pasting from a citation machine, just make sure you're reformatting that font. Spacing is always double spaced, no matter what, without any extra spaces. Your title, your heading, your works cited page should all be double spaced. And sometimes it's easier to set that before starting the paper. And make sure you're not putting any double spaces after periods. We don't do that anymore. Your headings and your titles are also important. Your heading does not go in the header. It goes in the top left corner on the first line of the first page, double spaced without extra spaces. And it includes your first and last name, your professor's name and title. So if you're in my class, that would be Professor Glassford. The course code, so your, the 4-digit or 4-letter, and 3-digit number. So ENGL 151 or 152 or whatever the case might be. And then the date, European style, so that there's no commas. We also want to make sure we have titles formatted properly. Your short essays should only have 1 title, no subtitles. We really don't use them too much in MLA except for really long papers. APA will use subtitles more. But that title is placed directly after the heading with no extra spaces. It should be centered, same font and size as the rest of the paper. It doesn't need to be bigger or smaller. It doesn't need to be bold or italics or underlined or putting quotation marks. You would only do that if you're referring to another author's work. So if you're writing about Edgar Allan Poe, Cask of Amontillado would be put into quotation marks, but not your entire title. Headers and footers. We don't typically use footers in MLA, so you don't need to worry about that. But your header should go in the header. That's your page number and your last name, not on the first line of each page. Very easy to do. Directions are there in that bluish purple box right here. Be sure to select Insert, go to Page Number, and click top right corner. Type your last name, put a space, and then it will go automatically. All right, moving on. So that's all your formatting. Again, if you just use the template, you can eliminate a lot of that hubbub. Your in-text citations, very easy to do in MLA, as you can see in that example in the middle bottom square. Just last name and page number. That's it. Remember, this is important for avoiding plagiarism and making sure that everything is accurate from your works cited page. If it is not your own words, your own idea, or common knowledge, must be in an in-text citation. If you're not sure, just cite it, but just the author's last name and the page number. If there's no author, you would go with the title of the article, but really at this level, we should be using sources that have authors. We don't need to label anything in that citation. We don't need any commas. We don't need to put the PG or P next to it, just that, like that example there. Okay, lastly is the works cited page, which is usually a bit daunting for new writers, but it does not have to be. Start on a new page. Your page number should still be there. Don't attach it separately. It should be part of your paper. Put works cited centered at the top of the page. Again, if you're using the template, this is already done for you, as is the spacing and the hanging indents. Hanging indents they look like a reverse paragraph indent, where the first line is in line with the left margin, and then the subsequent lines of each citation are indented once. There's a setting in Microsoft Word for that. And Google Docs, just go to the help and type hanging indents, and it'll bring you right to that. Don't put extra spaces between entries, and make sure your sources are presented in alphabetical order by author's last name. Okay, last slide. I have to keep these videos short because YouTube won't let me do longer videos. We want to make sure that when we're doing the works cited list, that we're collecting all the information for our sources, and then either doing it manually with an MLA manual or Purdue OWL or a citation machine. Probably, if you've been in class with me, you've heard me say I don't like citation machines. I just don't trust them. I think it takes additional amount of time because you have to reformat everything. But just be sure to double check them if you do use a citation machine. I know some people do. And make sure you reformat them. And that's about it, I think. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments or send me an email if you're one of my students currently. Have a great day.